If it's not obvious from my accent already, yeah, I'm a Filipino. Do I take pride in it? Kinda? But it's complicated when your country is dealing with some of the worst corruptions imaginable. We're talking about 1 trillion pesos stolen. That's around $17 billion just taken by politicians and their cronies. And this is a country where the minimum wage can get as low as 455 pesos a day, which is like $8. Think about that for a second. $8 a day. That's what people are expected to live on. That's supposed to cover food, rent, transportation, everything. So when it comes to having enough money to build a gaming PC, yeah, forget about it. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating a bit, but yeah, you can technically save up for one, but here's the thing. You see all these YouTube videos about budget PC builds for like $800, and people in developed countries can just do some odd jobs here and there, save up for a few weeks, and buy all the components. But that's not how it works. $800 is like 3 months of minimum wage before you spend anything on food or rent or literally staying alive. And that's assuming you even have a job, because unemployment is its own nightmare here in the Philippines. So believe me, it will take you about an entire year to get enough money to buy all those components. How so? Well, the average minimum wage salary, as I said earlier, can get as low as $8 a day. So if you multiply that by 30, that will be around $240 a month, which will be a total of $2,880 per year. And that's not even counting all the living expenses like the bills, the food, maybe rent, and other everyday needs, assuming you live alone. And let's be honest, would leave you nowhere near the $800 that you need to build that budget gaming PC. So, to actually build a gaming PC, a better job would get you around the possibility of making that happen. You would need a job that pays at least 1,000 pesos a day, or around $20 a day, which is, believe it or not, here in the Philippines, people with those salaries are even considered as the breadwinner for a family of 5. So yeah, even if you got that better job, you're still looking at like 7 to 8 months of strict saving if you want to build something decent. And that's assuming nothing goes wrong. You or one of your family don't get sick and spend emergency expenses. And that's why people start looking at used parts like they're the main option, because honestly, sometimes they are. And with an economy from a country like this, opting to pick used PC parts isn't even a terrible choice like what most people suggest it to be. It's one of the ways to actually build a decent rig without selling a kidney. But we have to have a serious talk about the used market here in the Philippines because, honestly, it's unhinged. You'd think used means cheap, right? In any other country, an old GPU is a paperweight the seller just wants out of their house while getting an extra cash in the process. Here, people treat a dusty GTX 1080 Ti like it's a rare Jordan 1. So you'll see listings for a GPU that's going to be 5 years old and the sellers would still be asking for 85% of the original SRP because, fuck it, why not? PC parts here carry this weird social weight. Like if you want an RX 5700 XT, a few years ago, people would have looked at you different. It's almost like a limited thing, something desirable and everyone knows what it costs. So when someone lists one, it gets snapped up fast. So why would they drop the price? There's also this cultural thing where Filipinos just don't let go of their stuff. Like after upgrading their components, they just store it somewhere because they plan to give it to some relative who might build a PC one day. But that never happens, so the components just sits in a cabinet forever. So, the supply of decent used parts here stays low and whatever does show up gets priced like it's precious. Unlike in any other country where they store it because they think it's no use to them anymore. But yeah, some good deals exist though. They do, but you're gonna have to work for them. And fast because they can get sold rather quickly. And oh yeah, scams. You have to be smart about it too. Because I was one of the idiots who's dumb enough to fall for this shit. This doesn't apply to my country specifically because it happens everywhere, so man, be careful out there.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
So, let's say you decided to skip the used market because you don't want to deal with the hassle. You're just gonna buy new parts from legit store. Okay, decent move, right? Except, here's the problem. Retail prices here are absolutely f***ed. You walk into any PC store in the mall or even those specialized PC building shops and you look at the price tags. A mid-range motherboard that sells for $150 in UAG, they're asking $250, sometimes $300. An RTX 4060 that's listed at $300 MSRP in the US, you're looking at $450 to $500 here. And I'm not talking about small markup to cover shipping and import cost. I'm talking about 40, 50, sometimes 60% markups on components. One time I was literally walking in the mall and I've seen this RTX 5050 being sold, right? It's listed as 26,000 pesos, which is like $450. And usually RTX 5050 only costs like $250 MSRP. So what the fuck? The worst part is, these aren't even sketchy stores. They're established shops that has been around for years. They've got proper storefronts, warranties, the whole deal, and they know you don't have any other options, so they charge whatever the fuck they want. And on why is it like this? Well, it's supply and demand. There's not that much places selling PC parts here. The supply is stupidly low compared to how many people actually want to build PCs. And because tech stuff, especially PC components, are seen as this premium luxury thing, retailers can charge insane prices and people will still buy them. It's like how Supreme can charge $200 for a white t-shirt because people perceive it as valuable. The few online retailers that exist here aren't that much better either. They'll have slightly lower prices than the physical stores, but you'll still have to account the shipping cost, delivery time, and especially if you're not in Metro Manila. And if something arrives defective, you're dealing with a customer service that may or may not actually help you. But this is by far my most preferred choice. And oh yeah, not to mention how fucked up the current component prices are because of the RAM and SSD shortage, which only made things worse. I know that if you just want to game, there's lots of gaming cafes you can just instantly play on. Because for a lot of people, building a setup that can play decent games doesn't even make sense financially. So some of them resort to playing at gaming cafes. If you live in Metro Manila or one of the bigger cities, sure, that's an option. You've got cafes with decent hardware, RTX 3060s or 3070s with high refresh rate monitors, good internet, and you pay like 20 to 30 pesos an hour and you're good. But here's the thing. Most people don't live in a city. Like most of the population lives in the suburbs or provincial areas. And in those places, gaming cafes either don't exist at all or the ones that do are running hardware from 2010. We're talking about GT 710s, maybe GTX 750 Ti, Pentium processors, 4GB of RAM, and these cafes are charging the same hourly rate to play on a potato PC that doesn't even support the latest Windows. So, for most people, the gaming cafe isn't really a good alternative. You either make the trip into the city, which costs money and time, or you're stuck with whatever trash hardware the local cafe has. And if there's no cafe at all in your area, which is common, then building your own PC is literally the only option if you want to game on something that isn't a console or a phone. And even in the cities where the cafes are good, there's still the convenience problem. Sometimes all the PCs are taken. Sometimes the cafe is too noisy. Sometimes you get stuck with someone who hasn't showered in 3 days. Or use headsets that stinks like hell. So having your own setup means you game on your own schedule, in your own space. That's worth something, especially if you're working from home or doing anything else that needs a computer. But okay, let's say you did it. You saved for months, maybe a year, and you found all the parts. You built the PC and it works. Congrats. Now you gotta keep it running. And this is where living in a third world country really starts to fuck you. Powering your computer costs electricity, and electricity costs. Your power bill is gonna go up, and not by a little. Running a gaming PC for a few hours a day can easily add 500 to 1,000 pesos a month to your bill. Maybe more depending on your components and how often you're gaming. That's real money when you're on a tight budget. Some people end up barely using their PCs because they can't afford the electricity. And oh, the power outages. If you live in an area with unstable power, which a lot of people do, you better have a UPS or you're risking your components every time the power flickers. And a decent UPS? That's another thousands of pesos you gotta spend on top of everything else. Because even just a small rain in the Philippines, the chances of these power outages just skyrockets. Then there's internet. You built this amazing gaming PC and now you wanna play online, right? Cool, except the internet here is unstable as hell. Yeah, PLDT and other ISPs offer fiber plans now for like $40 a month or less. The speeds are actually decent when it works, but that's the problem. When it works. You'll be in the middle of a ranked match and suddenly your ping spikes to 200.
Ang ina mo! Gago ka, Pelite! Yung fiber! Gago! P***yo ka!
Or the connection just drops completely for no reason. Or it's fine all day, then it becomes unstable during peak hours because everyone in your area is online. The infrastructure is here, the internet is there, but the reliability? That's a whole different story. You can have the best hardware in the world and it doesn't matter if your internet decides to shit itself every other game. And yeah, that's how it is here. An $800 build might be a few weeks of saving in a developed country, but here, that's nearly a year of serious budgeting. That's choosing between upgrading or having emergency money. The parts are the same, the builds are the same, but what it actually costs to get there is completely different depending on where you live. And this is exactly why so many people are going for the super low-end builds, like those set up using old OEM parts, Dell Optiplex towers with some janky GPU shoved in there, or builds with a Ryzen 3 and a GT 1030. Yeah, it's not gonna run the latest games at high settings, but it works. It plays esports titles, and it gets you into PC gaming without needing to save for a really long time. Look, I'm not here to make anyone feel bad about having easier access to this stuff. But if you wonder why people from countries like mine get so hyped about finally building a setup, or why we hold onto our hardware for so long, this is why. It's not just a hobby purchase, it's a genuine investment that requires real sacrifice. Anyways, so yeah, I hope I gave you some perspective on what it's like building a computer here in the Philippines. And so, if you like this video, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because that'd be really cool, dude. Look, hit that like button, dude. So cool, dude. Anyways, so yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.